Imagine returning to a place from your childhood, only to find nearly everything in ruins. Homes reduced to rubble, once thriving towns now eerily silent, and the people you knew either dead or transformed beyond recognition. Welcome to The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. A game that, on the surface, seems like a whimsical adventure, but quickly reveals itself as one of the most terrifying entries in the Zelda series. Now I know what you're thinking, but Majora's Mask is the scariest Zelda game. And hey, I hear you, Majora's Mask is a deliberately scary game, filled with existential dread and time-based anxiety. But hear me out, Ocarina of Time is subtly terrifying in a way that sneaks up on you. It doesn't rely on overt horror elements so much as a creeping underlying sense of decay and despair. You see, in Majora's Mask, you're desperately trying to prevent the end of the world. The horror is a looming apocalypse, the ticking clock reminding you that all will be lost unless you do something. But in Ocarina of Time, the world's destruction has already happened, and you're simply left to wander its corpse, giving it more of a somber and depressing type of fear. When you transition from child Link to adult Link, you aren't just growing up, you're stepping into a nightmarish future where everything you once knew has been obliterated. The moment you take your first steps into the ruined Hyrule Castle town and are immediately greeted by the groans of the Redeads, it becomes painfully clear you are now very much alone. And that loneliness isn't just thematic, it's oppressive. What am I saying? Unlike Majora's Mask, where you share a common struggle with the NPCs, the world of adult Link in Ocarina of Time feels hollowed out. Many people are dead or missing, and those who remain are often in too much trouble to be of much help. Kakariko Village is overrun by cursed souls, Zora's domain is frozen, its inhabitants locked in ice, the Kokiri forest is infested with monsters. Almost no one got out unscathed. Then there are the outright horror elements. Take the first time you stay out at night as Child Link. You find yourself outside Hyrule Castle as the drawbridge closes, trapping you outside with stall children that rise from the earth, forcing you to defend yourself until morning. It's a small moment, but it establishes something important. This world is not safe. But let's move on to something truly grotesque. The cursed spider family. You enter a seemingly abandoned house in Kakariko Village only to be met with horrifying half-human, half-Skulltula abominations. Their grotesque bodies, blending human limbs with arachnid parts, are just pure body horror nightmare fuel. And the worst part, their condition is a mystery. We never get a full explanation as to how they were cursed, leaving it to our imaginations. And then there's Dead Hand. This is kind of the whole point of the video here. Dead Hand isn't just a spooky boss, he's one of the most unsettling creatures in the Zelda franchise, and actually probably one of the most unsettling creatures ever. This guy rivals most horror characters. Lurking in the bottom of the well and Shadow Temple, Dead Hand is a sickly, fleshy abomination covered in what looks like blood stains. He looks like the Glob Glob Gab Galab, with praying mantis arms and a huge gaping mouth. The fight begins with multiple disembodied hands emerging from the ground. Are they part of him? Are they separate creatures? We don't know. But when one grabs you, Dead Hand slowly, painfully shuffles towards you before clamping down with his enormous, gaping jaw. The animation is jerky and unnatural. Dead Hand isn't a hidden secret either, it's right there in the middle of a game that was supposedly made for children. Now, Majora's Mask has its fair share of creepy moments. The moon's ever-present stare, the unnerving happy mask salesman, the transformations. But here's the thing, Majora's Mask is meant to be scary. It wears its horror elements on its sleeve. Ocarina of Time, on the other hand, tricks you into thinking it's a standard adventure game before sucker punching you with existential dread and deeply unsettling imagery. Let's talk about the dying Hylian soldier. You find him slumped against a wall in a back alley, fatally wounded. He uses his final breath to tell you how he failed to stop Ganondorf, then he dies right in front of you. What? This was an E-rated game, Nintendo. There's a darkness lurking beneath Ocarina of Time that makes you feel like there's something wrong with this world. Something evil hiding just beneath the surface. Even cheerful locations seem tinged with an eerie quality. as if disaster could strike at any moment. Compared to Majora's Mask, where the NPCs still cling to hope and connection, Ocarina of Time just feels empty. You're not just fighting evil, you're witnessing its victory. So, which game is truly scarier? That's up to interpretation. Majora's Mask is like a relentless horror movie that never lets up, but Ocarina of Time lingers, haunting you with its desolate world and deeply disturbing encounters. For me, stepping into the ruined castle town with the Redeads, encountering Dead Hand, this is all much scarier than anything Majora's Mask threw at me because I wasn't expecting that. And that, in the end, is what makes Ocarina of Time so uniquely terrifying. Anyway, you can like and subscribe if you want. Have a good day. Bye-bye.